I would now request the students to grace the occasion by singing Saraswati Vandana.
हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। तुम सर की देवी है, संगीत तुझसे, हर शब्द तेरा है, हर गीत तुझसे। तू स्वर की देवी है, संगीत तुझसे, हर शब्द तेरा है, हर गीत तुझसे। हम हैं अकेले, हम हैं अधूरे, तेरी शरण में हमें प्यार दे माँ। हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। मुनियों ने समझी है, गुनियों ने जानी, वेदों की भाषा, पुराणों की वाणी। मुनियों ने समझी है, गुनियों ने जानी, वेदों की भाषा, पुराणों की वाणी। हम भी तो समझे, हम भी तो जाने, विद्या का हमको अधिकार दे माँ। हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ।
I request all the members on the stage to please settle down.
I am very pleased that we are continuing this tradition of the alumni get-together, which gives an opportunity to give a good connect among ourselves. Our alma mater has been a great foundation stone in the area of securities market. Our alma mater is like a mother, patiently accepting all your hoots, but proudly boasting your achievements to the world. And this is the reason why institutes are called our second home. I should point out that I'm speaking not only to those of you in this room, but we are also live streaming this event so our alumni and friends around the world can attend. So greetings to everyone, even to those who can't physically be present with us this weekend. Moving further, let's first have a big round of applause to start today's event on a high note. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it.
Now, I would call upon Dr. Lata Chari to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Uma Shashikant. Ma'am.
So, good morning, all of you. A warm welcome to all of you here today. And I think we have woken you up out of your slumber and literally got you to come here today in the morning after a very late night celebration which we had yesterday. So, at the outset, I'm here to do a few things. I'm here to give you a welcome speech. I'm here to tell you what we are doing at NISM here now since you guys left the campus, and I'm here to welcome our chief guest of the day. So Honorable Chief Guest Dr. Uma Shashikant, our guest of honor Mr. Atul Lakhoti, our registrar Mr. Sunil Kadam, our chief of examination Mr. Nitin Tike, and also a professor here. And welcome to all of you, warm good mornings. And before we start off, I think our alumni and NISM, we need to share a very strong bonding which will take us ahead. Our alumni are going to be our brand ambassadors and torch bearers. While we at NISM, are engaged in improving the talent and professionalizing the securities market, you are actually our ground soldiers there, attempting to take the best practices ahead and then professionalize the markets, take care of market development, take care of investor interest, and maybe all across you are going to be carrying the flag of NISM and carrying our name across in the industry. You are going to be our foot soldiers who is going to be carrying our name ahead. So in this regard, we expect you to be connected with us also. Let us know your success in your career. Let us know about your success in your own lives. And we are very happy and glad to know about it and celebrate your success here at NISM. So this is one of those occasions where we would like to understand more about you, get you back to the campus and link you up with NISM back here. Having said that, after you have left, we at NISM have also been moving ahead in terms of the teaching pedagogy, in terms of the programs which we are offering, in terms of revisions to the academic curriculum. I think we have been trying to keep pace. So as teachers, we have not been slumbering and waiting for things to happen. We have positively initiated a lot of, what shall I say, rigor into the curriculum and made it in tune with what's happening in the industry today. I'm glad to also share with you that we now have a new simulation lab. All of you would have worked in the lab with our lab team. Our lab team is actually trying to bring experiential learning pedagogy into NISM, which is one of its kind. We are upgrading the lab now to have technical charting tools in it. We are upgrading the lab now to incorporate algo trading modules into it. We are upgrading it to have derivatives, futures and options, Greeks, the derivative Greeks. We are including modules on option writing and derivative strategies into it. So we believe that doing is learning, and learning by doing is the best way to learn. So we have upgraded the lab. We would like to invite all of you to come into the lab before you walk off today, and then maybe let us know what you can do in the lab for us and share with us and make the learning more richer. So having said this, since our chief guest today is, has actually at the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Uma Shrikant, our chief guest. I think we spoke to her just 2 days back, and then she immediately agreed to come to the campus at such short notice. Despite her other engagements, she is supposed to be leaving back to Atlanta today, but still she agreed to come in. And at the outset, warm welcome to you, ma'am, and thank you for accepting our request and being here and sharing your thoughts with our students here. Having said that, I believe ma'am is a very good, Dr. Uma Shrikant is a very good blend of both academics and industry. Maybe she's a role model for all of us faculties also here, and maybe to all of you. We are having someone who started her career in UTI ICM as a professor, served there for about a decade, doing various training programs for regulators, for market participants and others, designing different courses, etc. And then later on moved to establish her own learning arm, which is the CIEL. She is the chairperson and founder of CIEL, which has been doing excellent learning and training activities. I think they have been doing the one-day CPE programs in association with NISM for a long time now. She is into content building and development of this. She's a entrepreneur plus teacher, if I may say so. So welcome, ma'am, and we would like to request you to deliver your presidential address to the alumni. You would like to do it from there, or?
Dignitaries on the dais and my dear friends in the audience, thank you so much for inviting me here. It is When I used to work at the UTI Institute, NISM was the dream, that one day we will have a campus and we will have a large space from which we will work and we will have a program. I'm talking about 2002 when I left UTI ICM. From 92 to 2002 I was there, and NISM was a dream. I was here when the campus was inaugurated, but I'm thankful to Dr. Chari, Mr. Kadam, Mr. TK, and everybody else from NISM who have invited me here today. It didn't take anything, not as Dr. Chari said, it took nothing to get me here. You know, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful feeling to be here. And the yearning in my heart that I could have been here teaching. Yeah, that was an alternate career. Many times this happens, right? We make choices. we make choices, we make career choices, and we move on. And I set up my own firm, and I'm very grateful that, you know, my association continues with NISM. We are associated with them as a service provider. But the joy of teaching young people, or the joy of just teaching, standing in the classroom and teaching, is immense. And I was mentioning before I came here, the whole idea of hearing your own voice and seeing a large audience generally nodding their head and agreeing with you is, I can tell you, very powerful. You feel so validated. Huh? So it's like it's an ego trip. It's a huge ego trip, and people like us then end up talking too much in our real lives too. Yeah, it kind of spills over. In the time that I have in front of you, I want to talk about at least 2 or 3 themes. The first one is really about how the work world has modified, has changed as I see it. It's my own view of how we work, how that has changed, and what does it mean for us. And the second one is therefore how we equip ourselves, how that has modified, that has changed. And the third is how it kind of ties together into the person we are. So there are 3 themes that I want to talk to you about. I'm hoping to not take more than 7 to 8 minutes on each one of them. So is that, Dr. Chari, a reasonable time to look at? About 25 to 30 minutes, not over that. 20 minutes is the listening span of most audiences. 20 is the maximum time any audience will give you. After that, it's a favor. Okay. You know, I don't like work so much. Let me begin with that. I don't like work so much. I don't think any one of us likes to work as an idea in itself. But why do I work? I work because while I work, I find myself there. I'm able to see who I am and what I do and how I do it. And so there is a certain identity of mine which reveals itself while I work. And that's a very personal, private identity that I don't want to share with anyone. It's my little secret of who I am, whether I am a hard worker, slacker, or whatever. And I love building that identity. So work for me is that private conversation with myself, a private work in progress with myself, which I quite enjoy. Now, when I look at work in that manner, what I do find is that many times the difficulty is that we define work in our own ways. Anything that moves from my desk will be perfect. It will have a stamp of mine. You know, I will give it my best shot. You know, I remember I was brought up by parents who said, it is okay if you set up a bakery shop. You must bake the best cake in town. You must be the best. You must work hard. Today, as I stand before you, I find that those concepts are so outdated. We don't work for all of that. Today to me, it is unthinkable that someone will be in my team and say that I will give it my best and this is how it shall be because I believe that you've asked me 2, but I will give 10 because that's what I wanted. I'm saying, no, I decide what I should deliver to the client, not you. Today I look at workplace as collaborative effort. It is not about individuals. So even if an individual says that I'm going to shine and sit up there, I as the leader of the organization will say I set the bar because I manage the revenue and cost. So you can't. So which is to say that what we do at workplace is today so completely collaborative. So these older ideas of excellence and hard work for its own sake. So your excellence and your hard work are defined in the context of your work, and they cannot be defined in an individual space in which you reside, which means individuals who understand the team, people who understand how to work with others are the ones that thrive, not individuals who push their own personal identity of मैं ऐसा ही हूँ, मेरा काम ऐसा ही होगा, my work will have this stamp. There was a time when we used to be proud of these attributes. Today it looks like the world has moved on, and collaboration is the name of the game. And we find that collaborative effort would mean that you're able to find where you fit in the team, because a team is going to be made with different kinds of people, which brings me to this idea of we used to attract homogeneous people like us. We'll work with people like us, so to say. But today we find that there is huge merit in working with people who are not like us. So someone is great with numbers, and someone else is superb with relationships. Someone else is very good with processes. You put a sales guy and an ops guy together, classic case. Okay, the sales guy will just look at revenue, he'll say, bring the numbers in, right? He's the guy who manages the business. I mean, whenever I talk with youngsters, I tell them this. They just run away at the mention of sales. Everybody who comes into a postgraduate program wants to be in the treasury or wants to be a fund manager. Let me tell you, in the life of the organization, there are 4 guys there. There are 400 guys in the sales force. And I can promise you that none of the brains become the CEO. The man who brings the business is the one who will become the CEO. So if you to look at the sales job as, मेरे को target दे देंगे, मेरे को somebody will call me and say कि number कितना हुआ है, is such a, what do you say, such a oversimplified view of the world, right? Today the truth is that a sales person is the one who connects you to your final customer. He is the one who is delivering that essential service for which everybody else is getting paid. So he will run with the numbers. Whereas the ops guy will look at, have you followed this process? Have you followed this? Sir, if you don't give your bill by this date, aapko paisa nahi milega. Sales guys won't even have time to submit their bills, right? So they will say ki time nahi hai, then he'll say year end and so on and so forth. This guy is looking at the detail. So when we collaborate, we are working with different kinds of people, and we develop that mutual respect, which breaks down the other thing we do when we study. How do we study? We study for an exam, right? So you sit and pass an exam and you prepare, and then you enter into the exam hall and say, मैंने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं यार, मेरे पास, I mean, the topper will always say this, huh? मेरे पास वक्त ही नहीं. I have not done anything. One of the classic humble brags, right? Where he will say कि, कुछ हुआ ही नहीं, ये हुआ, but then all of us are struggling to kind of score in that exam, stand first, worry about our ranking, worry about our grades. Let me tell you, in the 35 years that I have worked, after that initial, I can brag to you that I was a gold medalist in my university. I topped the university, and I was the first woman to do so, right? When I studied in my time. Yeah? So my parents were super proud, but that's not the story. After that gold medal event, there has been no occasion in my life, except for events like this, where you want to, tell people, mera gold medal. No one is scared, actually. It hasn't mattered a thing, right? It hasn't mattered. So what happens really is that because of this, that it's an individual effort, जिंदगी में आपका कोई काम ऐसे नहीं है जो आप अकेले करके पहला नंबर आने से होता है. कोई काम नहीं है. Not even your relationship. Even that is a collaboration. So when you train yourself all your life to compete and stand first and focus on the exam, which is your individual effort, you're not preparing yourself for the real life reality. Just imagine an open exam where a problem is given to a set of students, and all of them solve that problem together, and all of them are then promoted as people who understand how to work together. We would have beautiful universities if we enabled that. But हम तो group discussion में सबको एक दूसरे के साथ लड़ने में छोड़ देते हैं, correct? I have seen young people in JDs, they come like warriors. Oh my God, they will kill one another if there is an opportunity, right? Whereas the reality is that we have to collaborate. So the more and more we learn to collaborate and work with people and don't make virtues of hard work and competition and standing first and being better than the others, right? If you made the other components in your team shine, you're going to shine. And that, to my friends, is the route to leadership, right? Which brings me to the second question of team roles, so to say. Everybody says, oh, boss, and this and that. The truth really is, as an organization, we're trying to solve a problem, right? And if you're in the securities markets business, the problem you're solving for is what is the ethical and right way to manage other people's money. Other people's money is important here. So if we do not bring into our behaviors the responsibility, the fiduciary responsibility for somebody else's money, we cannot be in this industry. So today the industry has several sharp practices, which are par for the course, where you can be. So the job, the responsibility that SEBI has, and therefore NISM has, is to modify this practice. And I think in the years since SEBI has been formed, I've been privy to seeing the markets before then, so I can talk from a position of a historian who has seen these sharp practices in the market. We used to have 60 different versions of the master gain certificate at UTI when it was introduced. 50 different versions, because people were happily printing and selling and, and doing all of this. So DMAT killed so many of it. We used to have times when brokers would charge 16% commission. Right? Today we have 0 and 1 paisa seems like a lot of money today. So there's a lot that has happened because of the establishment of SEBI to bring integrity into this market, to stand up and say that organizations like Sharda and others who were raising money from gullible investors were wrong, stopping off plantation companies from raising money. There have been, you open the website of SEBI to look for the number of frauds and malpractices they have caught and penalized, you will understand that we have a fairly entrenched system of treating other people's money carelessly. Therefore, when we're looking at our jobs as people in the securities markets, we understand this responsibility that every role ultimately solves for this money being deployed. There used to be a time when investors would say, I want an X% return, assured return kya hai? Kitna milta hai, right? So today, investors understand that the markets have changed. No one sends their child to the government school, for example, right? People understand the private sector. People understand the private sector in education, in healthcare, in employment, right? Today, parents are able to say with great pride. I remember when I came as a PhD student in 1984 here to Bombay, right? My father was very disapproving. He said, stock market mein jaoge? मैं क्या बताऊं? कौन शादी करेगा तुमसे? Correct? Because it was seen like a den of thieves in a sense, that it was not seen as a very honorable thing to do. But today we know that there is much honor in that profession and there's much more to be done in that profession. So as people who specialize in securities market, you're part of that whole solution. It's very important to remember where the big picture is and whether you're aligned. So if you convert yourself into this person who will find the shortcuts to get a job done, it's quite likely that you will enjoy short-term successes and have long-term failures. But if you're able to solve that problem for the long-term betterment of investor wealth, there's a big job to do. There's a huge area to cover. If you made a difference to a few families' wealth, right? Everyone out there do not know what to do with their money. And I remember the moment you open your mouth into saying you have anything to do with securities market, right? People say, "Do naam to bata do yaar, kya karna hai?" Right? Tell us where to put their money. People are really desperate for solutions. So you're in that space. So when people tell me, when I hear that people have studied for a year on securities market or have done 2 years programs on securities market and worried about their future, I'm saying, why? It's such a huge problem to solve. We still haven't figured how to manage other people's money. And there are millions of roles there and millions of tasks there to be done, which calls for a young mind that's willing to collaborate. Yeah, which brings me to the last part of what I want to tell you today. Ultimately, it is about how we live our life, isn't it? Who we are, what we want to become. It's a part of a larger scheme. you're in a place, I mean, I've known of people who will say that, you know, अगर मेरे पास अगर ये होता तो मैं ऐसे बनता, you know, my parents ऐसे करते तो हम ऐसे. All that story ends when you're 21. Let me tell you that. All that ends. You can't live a life, you can't at 60 turn back and say, but my father sent me to engineering college. You had the choice of changing it when you were 21, right? From when you're older, they say 18 in many places, but as you grow older, you are making your life with your own hands. You have all the freedom to become the person that you want to become, right? So when we say responsibility, we're talking about taking charge of yourself, the kind of person you will be. You know, whether you will be honest or not, whether you will be, whether you will work with the team or not, whether you will be hardworking or not, whether you will push the boundaries or not, you know, whether you will, compete or not. It all, you can make the choice today. You can say, I lived a life competing, now I will live a life collaborating. That's your choice. So someone like this can come and talk on a Sunday morning and tell you, guys, please collaborate, live with others and make everyone succeed, and, you know, and so on and so forth. So, but identifying that oneness is a lifelong work. Looking around you and saying that we are all, after all, imagine the big universe, the big picture. The big universe in which the earth is just a small blue drop. And we're all in this together. We're all here, right? To be there for one another and to be able to do things and define ourselves in a larger context, right? Where as we say, when we say namaste, the God in me is praying to the God, is saluting the God in you, right? We may not be believers in God, but we connected. We are all part of one, and therefore trying to say ki I am vegan and therefore I will eat only almond milk, you know, is like, I have nothing against vegans, but the more and more, but I do not pray this God, you know, but I don't wear this clothes. No. Each one of us has our preferences. We like to dress in a particular way. We like to eat a certain kind of food. We like to pray a certain kind of God. We like to read certain kind of books. We like to love and marry a certain kind of person. I've seen rude people, yaar, isse kaise shaadi ki yaar? Correct? How did she go and marry this guy? But then she left that guy, right? And I grew up as a youngster, you know, who wanted to marry a very tall man. I mean, Amitabh Bachchan and all of that, right? So, very tall man who didn't smoke. I married a short guy who smokes, and 35 years I'm still in love with him. Yeah? So things happen. Things happen in life, but the oneness, I want to leave you with that message. You know, the oneness of the fact that we are all connected means that we have no choice but to collaborate. We have no choice but to make the best part of ourselves available to the world. Modify ourselves in a way that the best part of us is available to that person. That's what being in love is, right? We always put the best foot front, right? We want to always be that better person, right? Talking very softly and nicely to service staff. Oh, girlfriend, jaane ke baad leke aao yaar, kind of stuff, right? We've done all of that. So being the best person that we can be and being able to work with the responsibility that somewhere we are always deciding for others, we have to do it with a great amount of ethicality and fiduciary responsibility. So it's a big, beautiful world out there with each one of us having so much to do, right? Let's not do it burning ourselves, right? Don't celebrate hard work as an end in itself. Yeah? So there are people who tell me, oh no, you should not work hard, you should work smart. No, you work within context, that's all. You work within the team, you work within context. You know, ये हार बनता है, just imagine एक फूल ने सोचा कि ये उसको मेरे को ज़्यादा चमकना चाहिए और बाहर आ लिया, तो पूरा हार का the structure gets changed, right? So we are part of a larger piece, and let's work with that responsibility of being a part of the whole. And namaste. Thank you.
Well, the address note given by ma'am was very much inspiring. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your thoughts about sales and organization, collaboration, importance of ethics in security markets with all of us.
It's an age-old belief that achievers are first believers, but I'm sure each one of us sitting in this fantastic arena are not just achievers, believers, but also winners in our own esteem. So here we are with some brilliant alumni who have performed extremely well in other fields related to academics, apart from just getting good grades in the exams.
We would like to honor them with the Professional Achievement Award, which is an award to those students who have brought laurels to this institute. This is given to those students who have graduated from NISM and have completed any professional course or are performing extraordinarily at their organization. Without any further delay, I would like to call upon to the stage Mr. Mohit Jaria. Okay, I think he's not here. Mr. Mohit Jaria? Okay. Our second award winner is Mr. Aditya Kondavar. He was a student of PGDQF 2017-18 batch. He
has been doing well by contributing in a lot many things, such as IPO Central, which is one of India's top viewed IPO review and news websites. Also publishing on Alpha Ideas, which is India's most famous financial blog. Contributing to India's largest investor association, Delhi Investor Association magazine, and many others. He is currently working as an equity research analyst in the institutional research.
I would like to call upon Mr. Mohit Jaria, PGPSM 2017-18. He holds an All India ranking of 3rd in costing and management level. He also holds CFA Level 2 certificate and is currently working with Bajaj Finance. Our next award goes to Pranjal Kamra. He is from PGPSM 2017 batch. He is the founder of Phenology Private Limited and is running India's #1 channel on stock market with 1 million subscribers. He started the first SEBI-registered investment advisory company in Chhattisgarh. He completely bootstrapped startup with more than 2 crore of revenue in the first year of operations itself.
Next, we have with us Mr. Tapan Padi, who was a PGPSM student from 2017 batch. Mr. Tapan Padi? Okay. Moving forward.
Our last award for the day goes to Kumari Anjali. She has been instrumental in placing the majority of NISM PGDQF 2017-18 and 2018-19 batch students in top financial companies in Mumbai. Furthermore, she received a scholarship from CFA Institute USA to pursue CFA charter and was awarded a professional certificate in data science from the University of California, Berkeley. She has now completed a year as a quant researcher at the Bank of New York Mellon. Magazine.
Thank you, Kumari Anjali. I hope we get to see more alumni to be nominated for the Professional Achievement Award next year. Moving further, so guess what, Aditya? I was having a chat with some of our alumni, and they turned out to be a little inspirational. We had discussions about their life after college, career paths, and further opportunities. I also talked to them about their pastimes and hobbies. I'm glad to inform that our seniors are into research area, investment advisors, some working in mammoth financial organizations like Federal Bank, NSE, and many others. Also, they are equally contributing to our college alumni magazine, Jigyansa. One of our alumni, Mr. Santosh Kushuma, named the alumni magazine as Jigyansa, which means curiosity to know.
Since security markets are fluctuating in nanoseconds, the curiosity of all the participants of these markets keep on increasing. This magazine helps to make us aware about the markets, its recent developments, and opportunities behind it. The current edition of the magazine is the second birth of Jigyansa. We thank each one of the contributors and readers of this magazine. The article in this edition of Jigyansa is embedded with various segments and the developments in financial markets, such as commodity derivatives, hedging in agri-commodities, artificial intelligence, and many more others. So here I would request the members sitting on the dais to inaugurate the magazine. Dr. Lata Chari is the chief editor of this magazine. I would call upon Dr. Pradeep Tarati Panda, the editor of the magazine, followed by the assistant editor, Mr. Ashutosh Kumar, and the core editorial team comprising of Santosh Kushuma, Karan Rathore, Manju Natarajan, Sonali, Sai Venkatareddy Gumti, and Shivam Ashish onto the stage. Everyone didn't come. I now take this opportunity to initiate the program further by welcoming our registrar, Mr. Sunil Kadam. Mr. Sunil Kadam is the registrar of NISM. Prior to taking over as registrar of NISM, Mr. Kadam was the director of Northern Regional Office of SEBI. Mr. Kadam was also a member of SEBI Committee on Disclosures and Accounting Standards and Auditing and Assuring Standards Board of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I would request Sir to address the gathering and further introduce a guest of honor, Mr. Atul Lahoti, who is a good friend of Sunil Sir. Atul Sir will be speaking about mantras for successful career. Sir.
Thank you. Similar to Uma Madam, we also invited Atul in a very short notice, and as a good friend, he has honored my request and he has came here to address all of you. So Atul has got two introduction from my side. One is informal and one is formal. Informal in a way that he is my batchmate, and both of us passed out in 1989. In fact, this is a small reunion for us because one more person sitting on the dais is also our batchmate, Mr. Nitin Tikhe, Mr. Atul Lahoti, and myself. All of three of us have passed out Pune University MBA in 1989. So this is informal introduction of Atul. Now, formal introduction of Atul is, yeah, he has done his schooling from Jalgaon. Then he has done engineering from Pune, and he stood 8th in the Pune University at BE exams. Then he has also done MBA in finance from Department of MBA, Pune University, that is all of us done. And he topped the Pune University during that MBA. So we ask his ranking, but don't ask my ranking. I will not disclose that. So he is presently pursuing the PhD course from in finance from Pune University. See, Atul Lahoti is in the business of manufacturing special purpose exotic resins required for the power coating industry. Received the prestigious GS Parekh Award for the innovative product Silver Pre-Con Steel in the year 1991. He has presented number of technical papers on power coating technology in India and abroad. He was instrumental in setting up the larger power coating plants in Maharashtra. See, Atul takes pride in working for society also. He was the youngest president of Mahesh Industries Group at Pune during the year 2000. Mahesh Industries Group is a confluence of entrepreneurs and industrialists in Pune and engaged in the work of promoting entrepreneurship in the society. He, his contribution to the field of education is immense through Maheshwari Vidya Mandal, a Pune-based 80-year-old trust. Since last more than 20 years, he is and at present he is the president of a MEPM. Now he will speak on the mantras for the successful career. So welcome Sri Atul Lahoti.
Yeah. Well, very good morning, and especially Sunday. I once again welcome all the alumnus of this great institute NISM and also the present students. It's also very honorable to share the dais with Dr. Umaji, Dr. Professor Lata, Nitin and Sunil. So I think NISM I think is a great institute, and when I look from outsider towards the NISM, I think you have a very big job as a nation builder, because we all know what difference it makes when the companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, they stand up by using the funding from the public. So NISM, which is in the field of the channelizing the public money in the most professional and the efficient manner to the market, growing need of the industry. And I think all the job that you all will be doing as a channel partner, or I think it is not less than any nation building job, because ultimately you will be contributing to the nation building. So it's a great institute, and I see really a beautiful campus. It's really, I'm sure that in next 10 years, there will be NISM name will be taken with pride all over India, and just like IITs and IIMs, definitely this NISM will have many more centers in India, and that is going to happen for sure, because the dedication of the people, and basically SEBI, Government of India and all the professionals who are attached with the NISM. So it's a great institute, great campus, great alumnus. When we talk about alumni have all over world, they have been great strength to their alma mater. I think this is the second meet of the alumni, and I congratulate all the management for taking this initiative and building a strong alumni base over the period of time. If you have the look at the largest alumni in the world, then you'll notice that Harvard's alumni, their budget, their funding is a plus $50 billion. And every year, 30,000 more ex-students, alumnus of Harvard, they contribute their resources. Those resources can be in terms of time, in terms of talent, or in terms of treasure. That is a 3T to the Harvard. Somebody is attached with the Harvard as a visiting faculty. He gives his time. Somebody is attached with the Harvard to its alma mater.